And we're back to learning Inkscape, and this time I'm going to show you how to put text on a corner. I ran into a couple of problems and here's how I solved them. Let me show you 3 examples. I'll create a text first and I'll control and resize that. And I right click and duplicate it 2 times. So the first one is going to be that text. The second one I'm going to show you how to handle empty spaces. And the third one is going to be a word with an uneven number of letters. Let us create the corner with the rectangle tool. Let me go to Object, Fill and Stroke, and I'll increase opacity to 100% so that you can see it. Maybe I'll give that only a stroke and no fill with the bottom menu. So I'll hold Shift and then I click on the colors with a stroke and I release Shift and click on the X to get rid of it. Then I go to Path and Object Path. I use the Nodes tool, click on the nodes and I resize that. So this is going to be the left hand side of the corner. Maybe something like this should be fine. That's alright. So that's for the first half of the text. Now I'll drag these guides down. I've got the snapping enabled. And I need them for each node, so 4 of them. I don't just copy and then flip it, because that would create a problem with the envelope later on. So I'll right click and duplicate, and then I manually use the nodes to resize that. Just like that, and I hold Control when I move these nodes, that way they snap into the vertical line. And there's the right hand side. You can see that here you can get rid of the guides one by one by dragging them back into the rulers. Well, let me just go to View and uncheck the guides box, and they're gone. You can press Ctrl R to blend in the rulers if you don't see them. Alright, I'll duplicate both 2 times for the other 2 examples. And now let's dive into our first example. I want to turn the text under path into a path, so object to path. Then I ungroup it under object. So text on is going to be our left hand side group. So I go to object and group that. And the other half is a corner for the right hand side, object group. And now I can select the text and then the object, go to extensions, modify path and envelope. It's important to select the text first so that this extension knows which object to put into which. So otherwise it won't work. Let me give this one a different color. Let me reposition that first. Maybe to around here. Now I can delete the 2 rectangle objects. So there's one way to create it, but you can see that the empty space between the 2 words on and a is now missing. Let me show you in a second example how you can fix that issue. So we've got the same text again and the same rectangles. I press T for the type tool. And then I add like a placeholder. I'll just use the number 9. So this is where the empty space would be between on and a. Now I go to path, object to path, then object and ungroup. I only select the 9, go to object, fill and stroke, and go down with the opacity to 0. So that way the 9 is still there, but it's opaque. Now I select the left hand side and make sure that you've got the 9 that you can't see selected as well. Then go to group that part for the left hand side, group the right hand side as well, and now repeat the process. So select the text first and then rectangle, extensions, modify path, and envelope. And you can see the 9 is placed as an opaque element into the rectangle. And that solves that issue that we had with the first example. I don't need the rectangles anymore. Let me delete that. And I give the right hand side a different color. And you can see it is exactly what we wanted. Now let's assume that we've got a text or a simple word that has uneven numbers of letters, for example YouTube. So the T is exactly in the middle, and this is where the corner would be. So how can we solve that? Let me connect these two rectangles first. Snapping helps. Once again, path, object to path for the text, then object and then group. Now we want to split the T in half, and we can use the Bezier tool for that. Click once, hold Control, then click again. We've got a straight line, and then use the arrow keys to reposition the T only to the center line. Hold Shift, select the line. So the T and the line are selected, then go to path and use division. Now the T is exactly split in half in the middle. And now we repeat the process. So select the left hand side, the U and the left half of the T. And the right hand side, the right half of the T and the U. Group both. And then again, select it, hold Shift. Click on the rectangle to select both, extensions, modify envelope. Repeat the process for the right hand side. You can now delete the rectangles. Give the right hand side a different color if you want to. If you see that your nodes, they don't align perfectly, like here with the T on top, you can just zoom in, select the right hand side, and then use the cursor tool to transform it downwards until you've hit the right spot. And this I can put text on a corner in Inkscape. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.